email, and we still send each other shit like that. There's somebody on the email. It's like, I shouldn't be seeing dicks in my email inbox if that's not what I want to see.
Sorry, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing because I just imagine like Fred opening up the fucking email. What?
Yeah.
But no, you're exactly right. Like, yeah, that's not appropriate in any workplace.
Right. But if you know the boundaries of the people around you, then, you act accordingly, right? You can,
of course.
You can make a joke here and there, right?
It's a maturity thing.
Yeah.
It's understanding what's going on. I don't condone any sort of on making somebody uncomfortable in the workplace.
Yeah.
Like in my daily job, a big part of my job is creating an office culture, an environment that is, appealing to people. Like, and if I ever found out some shit like that was going on, I mean, we have an HR department to handle that specifically, but I would just be really fucking pissed off. I'd be like, really? Like, I thought we have a great culture at this office. Like, what the fuck? So, and maybe in the past we've had an employee that had issues with that, and it was a lack of maturity, but that employee may no longer be there anymore, which is what should happen at all companies. So if it's coming from the high ups and the high ups are allowing this to happen, which is what was going on in this instance, it's a small studio.
Yeah.
That's not okay. And so when it comes to that stuff, that's okay to talk about. Was the whole point to go back to what this topic was about, politics and gaming.
Well, I do know, because we haven't really gone into a lot of detail yet on the Quantic Dreams thing, that one person won their case and one person lost their case. We don't know which cases. We don't know which charges. We have no idea.
Well, it was the big one, I think, was the one that won recently. But another thing I want to touch base on, Quantic Dreams started fucking... Yeah, this is another reason why I fucked this studio at the moment. They're suing the publications that broke the stories in France. And Kotaku, actually, Kotaku, I'll give them credit for this. They broke the story that Quantic Dreams was secretly trying to sue these, or is still in the process of suing these publications in France that broke the news of the discrimination lawsuit, which is super fucked up.
It wasn't a secret. They publicly admitted to
I want to say it said that they were suing these publications, and it's there for public knowledge, but...
Well, he said it in an interview.
The owner of the company?
Well, whoever the dude is, I forget his name.
Well, all right. Well, either way, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And now, those lawsuits are still ongoing. They just lost a lawsuit regarding discrimination, so it's like they're now suing these publications for talking about stuff that they claim didn't happen, but then the court was like, well, it did happen, and we are ruling against you.
Right.
So that's interesting. I don't know. It's France law, so I have known nothing about that. Okay, but we'll wrap that up, but just know we understand there are political and social issues that we have opinions on, but y'all, as listeners, you shouldn't even listen to our opinions because you're fucking stupid anyway, even though I have a fucking degree in it. It's still stupid. I'm not intelligent enough to make you believe anything, and it doesn't really have a place in always relating things back to the current political and social climate we're in. But I will say, when it comes to a situation like the Quantic Dreams story, of course we're going to cover any type of political or social commentary on said stories when it relates to video games.
Indeed.
And I'll leave it at that. All right, so we'll finish up with that section and on to our very last section with a guest we're bringing into the studio.
Game Genies.
Okay, so Brandon, welcome back to the show. Do you sound like Matt Penfield still?
Come with me and you'll see a world of pure imagination.
I love that movie.
That's a no, then. That's a great movie.
I really like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
What was going on with my voice on those episodes?
You sound like a fucking asshole.
Oh, my God. I don't sound like that at all. I don't sound like that right now.
You do, but...
It's a new Brandon.
It's a new you.
Yeah, we can just pretend I'm not even the same person for this week.
Okay, so you're always on for tabletop gaming. I wanted you on for the politics and gaming, but you had some shit going on tonight, so we had to just only do this one. But I almost had you on for politics and gaming. You probably wouldn't have said anything worth a shit because you know nothing about.
I'm seeing a vocal coach. I'm seeing a vocal coach try to get rid of the raspiness. So I had my vocal coach lessons today.
Yeah.
Right.
It was good. It was good. We did some O's and some G's.
Oh.
So it was good.
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, so tabletop. We're going to talk
Top
about
of the
Fred.
tabletops.
No,
Top of the tabletops?
motherfucker. No. Tabletop discussion, motherfuckers. Brandon and I, we mentioned it last time. Shut the fuck up! Okay, so we talked about Pandemic Legacy a bit on the last time Brandon was on. when we had the tabletop discussion.
That is correct.
Fallout.
We did talk about it.
And we kind of explained how legacy games go, but I'll let Brandon describe it real quick, and then we'll go into that we finally finished our Pandemic legacy game, which we've been doing for almost 2 years.
Yeah. So legacy games, the way it works is it's similar like a actual video game where what you change and what you do in each playthrough affects the overall game. So because of that, if you do something really terrible, so Pandemic's a game about different diseases that you're having to clear on the world, and if you let it get too out of hand, that's going to screw you over in the next game, which is pretty crazy. And it gets progressively harder.
I appreciate you, first of all, censoring yourself and saying screw instead of fuck.
Wow.
Because we don't talk like that on this podcast.
Yeah, that would be fucking. We'd be so fucking pissed if you talked like that on this show.
Well, I didn't, so we're
Fred,
good.
you don't curse it often, so when you just did just then, it sounded like very forced.
It sounded like Mrs. Poppins, Mary Poppins. It sounded like Mary Poppins cursing.
Wait, what?
Listen, I don't fucking care what you say.
What?
I don't even know what that was.
I don't know what that was either. Were you trying? Was that what Mary Poppins sounds like in your mind?
Off. You guys can fuck off.
That's not what Mary Poppins sounds like. She would say, "How about you fuck off?" I can't do it. I'm not
Why
doing
are
it.
you
I'm
so
not doing it.
concerned with me?
So Pandemic Legacy, it's a fun game. We've been playing it for 2 years. I can't believe it took us that long to finish it.
We started Halloween. Okay, we started like a game before Halloween, but our full team of 4, it's a co-op game. We started Halloween night 2016, and there's now a season. So we finished season 1. There's a season 2 coming out. Sorry, it's already out that you own already.
Yep.
And we're starting that game with the same group on Halloween of this year.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be fun.
So you're starting.
We are looking forward
anew.
to it. Yeah, well, it's a different game, though. Like, the reason it's season 2 is because it takes place after the first season, similar to television shows. And you completely fucked up the world. Now you got to rebuild it.
I thought you said, I thought you were about to say, and you complete me, Fred. I thought this was going to be like a thing. We're going to have a glorious story. See, Brandon, why don't you fucking be nice to Fred?
It's fine. Well, we'll get there. We're developing.
Yeah. You're developing your friendship.
It's like a nation. You have to develop that nation.
I don't know.
So, yeah, so we finally finished it.
How often were you playing this?
We only actually played it 4 different times.
When we played for like 5 to 6 hour sessions most of the time.
Yeah,
like
so
20 hour.
each game takes about anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour to complete, and it's anywhere between 12 and 24
not only that.
games.
That's like the start of the game to the end of the game. Then after each section, Brandon's opening up new cards, new fucking packs to understand what the fuck we just did.
Oh, yeah,
and
you
how
have
the
to
game
put
is going to be
stickers
changing.
on the actual board, so it changes. Like, I feel like I'm doing a terrible job of describing this, but yeah, you're having to put like stickers on the board that permanently change the game. You're able to buy upgrades, especially depending on how poorly you do each month, because it's split up into 12 months, and you have 2 chances to beat each month. And you have different objectives, and it's a lot of fun. It's very RPG-like for a tabletop, not being a tabletop RPG, for being an actual board game. And they have a couple of different ones. They have, this Pandemic Legacy, what we played. They have another one called Seafall that was made as a legacy game from the ground up. And then they have Risk Legacy. And I think they're coming out with a 4th one as well. I can't remember what it's called, though.
I think it was like, what is it? Pornhub Greatest Hits Legacy. It's
That sounds
something
right.
like that.
That sounds right.
Something like that.
Because
You're
the
trying to create your own
porn-based,
porn studio.
porn-based tabletop games, it's really a new genre, but it's really taking off.
I mean, sex sells.
You're right, and also Brandon's lying, but I just realized how we're going to become billionaires, and it's going to be us creating our own tabletop pornographic game. And what we're going to do is we're going to use ourselves as the models / photos on said game.
All right, continue.
Yeah.
Go
you're
on.
You're going to be in a banana hammock, Fred. I'm going to be in a Speedo, and Brandon's going to be in a trench coat.
Ooh.
So the
Mysterious.
Pandemic Legacy, it was insane. We barely won the final month, but we did a lot of really. So the thing is, once you start, you can sort of start metagaming. In other words, like thinking about the game outside of what you're playing, and more like min-maxing while you're playing Pandemic Legacy, because we knew we were going to fail a couple times. So what we did was we made sure that we set it up to where even though we failed, we had done a lot of stuff that was going to make the next month easier. And so we started doing things like that. And you can't do it too much because the whole point of the game is you only know your objective when you get to that month. But you at least know the double objective that you have if you get to do the month twice, so you can sort of set yourself up to complete it the second playthrough.
Well, and another thing is that you actually get a bonus cards if you lose that help you out the next go around.
That's true.
And as you win, they take those cards away. So it's one of those things where like you kind of want to fail a couple of times, so it makes your life a little bit easier. But I will say that game, playing original Pandemic, that's one thing, and that's a great game as well. I own it. I fucking love it. But playing a Legacy,
you
Lubbock or leave it. Jesus fuck. So thank you, Fred. So the thing is, Pandemic Legacy, it takes it to a whole nother level. I was like, okay, it'll be like Pandemic, but over and over, and I guess there's an actual storyline. No, this shit makes you have to think about so many fucking different rules and shit. It changes so much of it that you're just like, holy fuck, this is hard as shit by the end of it, which it was.
Yeah, but it was a great game. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're gonna put it in a shadow box, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna put it in a shadow box and like glue the pieces onto the board in like a state similar to what we ended with, and like characters die. So you pick different characters of who you're gonna play, and they die. And when they die, it tells you rip up the fucking cards. Damn. So like you can never play as those people again. So that's kind of cool. We only had one death, which was positive, and then it was awesome, and I'm really excited to start playing the second one. Hopefully, I can come back here and give you guys update on the second one once we started doing that. That sounds like a good plan.
That'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big deal that we finished this. It was huge. It was just something that we've been wanting to finish forever, and we finally got to. It was great. We did it with our buddy Chris that works at EA. I don't know why the fuck I just said that. And then our buddy Justin, who's our guitar player in our band.
Yeah,
nice.
It was a lot of fun. It was a good core group, too, so that was really fun. And what do you think was like the most interesting part while playing it, Ryan?
We hadn't played it for like almost a year by the time 2 Saturdays ago. We went to a brewery, just set it up at the tables at the brewery, had some drinks for like 5 hours, and just fucking finished it. But it was funny because I kind of forgot. Well, I forgot everything. But within the first game, I was immediately brought back like, oh yeah, this is exactly where the fuck we left off. So it was easy to come back to, which is nice, because I feel like those games are going to be like, if you get that same group of people together, you're not going to do it that often. So it's kind of made to be like, okay, this is what was going on. And it's very specific on the board of like, here's the state you're in. But I guess the most fun was just like, well, it was for the first time. That was my very first Legacy game. It was just fun knowing that it was very similar to like a video game storyline campaign, but in the fashion of a board game.
Yeah. What I thought was really interesting, you had to focus on, you couldn't one person do the whole thing. You had to focus on like divvying up jobs, because there's different things you have to do in the game. There's clearing off diseases as they jump on the board. There's curing the disease so you can get it off the board. That's one of the objectives, is to cure all the diseases, but also to get it off the board easier. And then there's also other objectives that you're doing. And so we did a good job of like splitting up the roles, and also the different characters you pick have different powers, or not really powers, but just actions they're able to take. Like our buddy Chris, the one that he was a dispatcher, and what he could do is actually move our pieces around the board to help us whenever it got to our turn to be able to, execute whatever strategy we were doing. But it was pretty awesome. It was probably the most fun I've had playing a board game, and I really like the Legacy idea, so it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's cool that you guys segmented it into like such big chunks, that it was like you played like 4 or 5 times, but they were like big chunks of time.
Yeah, we planned that shit out like weeks, or like at least a week ahead of time. Like, hey, is everybody good to just hang out all day? And we're drinking at the brewery, we were drinking good beer. At the other times, it was our friend's house, and we were like doing like we do in the other tabletop sessions, is just like open some really rare good beers. And I mean, even one time, I think remember the first or second time we played it, like the World Series is on, so we were all watching the Cubs in the World Series when they fucking won 2 years ago. And I don't know, it was cool. It was a good experience to look at. You know what's funny? Like, we're always playing tabletop games whenever World Cups are, because we played last year when the Astros fucking won the World. Oh my god, I just said World Cup so many times. World Series. I'm a soccer fan, not a baseball fan. God damn it!
You're getting out of.
Getting a fucking. I sound like an idiot. But anyway, so the World Series. I feel like we're always playing tabletop games when watching the World Series. We were playing a tabletop game with our other group which include these two guys that we played Pandemic with,